Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I have another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle, and today's Wi-Fi battle is quite possibly the longest Wi-Fi battle I've ever had. To be honest, it lasted 50 turns long, and like, holy crap, that's a long one. But as you can tell by the video, I actually did fix the focusing issue that I had before, and apparently I found out how to actually avoid it. Basically, what I have to do is I have to not zoom in too close to the screen here. Because if I actually zoom in too close, to the screen, all the characters, text, and everything gets blurred up. But if I actually start recording a bit farther away from the screen, then zoom in, it will actually show it a bit clearer. Like as you can see my name a bit better. You can see the opponent's name a bit better than the Pokemon. So I finally fixed the issue, and now I know how to actually do it properly. So that means I can now upload the videos in slightly better quality, sort of, even though it's the same crappy camera, but still. So, since this battle's 50 turns long, I'm going to have to do this as fast as I can. So, my team, I am doing the team. Originally, it contained Vivillon, Staraptor, Absol, Mega Absol, Avalugg, and X-Blow, Choice Specs X-Blow. And I have tried it out a little bit, but honestly, I really ain't that impressed with my team so far. So, I decided, well, this team probably has the potential to be a really good defensive team, so I decided there's a couple I can think of adding in that would be great fit for this team. One of them that I just finished recently was my redone version of my Goodra, especially defensive with the Soul Vest. And I do have an online match with that same Goodra, but however, that was before I got it, and that match didn't turn out very good, so I'm using this one that was before that. And I also decided to redo Tentacruel. However, this is my alternate Tentacruel, and the one that I have on my rain team is the same one. And I freaking love Tentacruel, by the way. It's such a good Pokemon. Really, really good poke. And I'm also going to add in Donphan, which I'm almost done with it, but whatever. So let's take a look at my opponent's team. My opponent's name is John, who is, apparently from what I've seen in his description on his profile, he's actually a Smogon player. So his team contains threatening Pokemon. Half of his team, a couple of them are OU and the rest are pretty much UU or RU. But look at his team. He has a Dragonite, a Mandibuzz, Volcarona, a Gliscor, Mega Moa, and a Smeargle. Out of the Pokemon on his team, the biggest threats on his whole team was going to be the Volcarona and the Dragonite. Well, actually, the Dragonite was not really that big of a threat as I thought, but the biggest threat on this whole team that I wanted, that really can do a lot to my whole team, is going to be that Volcarona. Because honestly, Volcarona can do a lot to my whole team, and that's why I needed it's good to have Tentacruel alive, because Tentacruel would be a great Pokemon counter toward Volcarona, and so forth. So anyways, let's get the start match, because like I said, this is one of the longest battles I ever had. It was 50 turns long. Yeah, so it is 50 turns long, so when we get to the stalling part, maybe I'll fast forward, but I'm not sure. So, we did have a battle earlier, but I completely destroyed him, but I didn't feel like uploading it because I felt really bad. So we decided to have a rematch after, because before, actually, I think he only had a few Pokemon or maybe something, I don't really remember, but we started with the same leads. He starts with the Smeargle, and I started with the Vivillon. I go for Sleep Powder, but he makes a good play and goes straight into Mandibuzz, predicting that. Because apparently Mandibuzz has an ability that prevents him from falling asleep or something. I don't know, because that's from what I've seen, but now the reason I switched into Absol over Avalugg is simply because that I know for a fact that his Mandibuzz has knockoff, and I know that's what he's going to go for. And I don't want Vivillon to lose the Focus Sash, because if it loses it, that means Volcarona will have, that Vivillon won't do that much. So that knockoff does absolutely no damage to me at all. And I went for the safe Flamethrower. I wasn't going to go for Willis predicting the switch out, but I went for the safe Flamethrower. And luckily, he sends in the Dragonite, and I completely got rid of the multi-scale, which is going to help me out a lot. And I go for Willis, and I thought maybe I could live through this Outrage because he's burned. But unfortunately, no. Absol completely dies from the Outrage, which really stinks, but at the same time, I'm not too worried about that because I'm not really too worried about that simply because that at least Absol burned one of his biggest threats. If he switches to Volcarona predicting the Willis, then that would have been a way better play, but since he is stuck in Outrage, that gave me a free opportunity to switch into my Avalugg, and I take that hit so damn well, and I kill him off with an Avalanche, which easily takes it out of me. It's 4 times weak to Avalanche. Of course it's going to do monstrous damage. So out comes the Smeargle. And hold on, I just want to see. Okay, just wanted to say something. And this really, and I had a bit of a hard time against this team here because since Absol's gone, and since he knows that my Mega Absol has Magic Bounce, which is obviously the ability that Mega Absol learns, this really sucks because now that means he can freely use Spore and all of his other moves. If Absol was alive, I could have switched directly into the thing, preventing him from setting up hazards. So I went straight into my Tentacruel, who honestly though, I really have no other choice, by the way. I really had no other choice, but he switches directly into the, Malaya, which, honestly, I was afraid of this thing a little bit, but I did it with my Tentacruel, and, I did predict him to switch, so it gave me a free opportunity to set up a substitute. And honestly, I don't really like the substitute set on my Tentacruel, because a lot of times it never turns out very well. And it doesn't work out very well for Tentacruel anyway, so after this battle, I got rid of substitute and replaced it with Protect. Maybe I can add in Protect with this just to make this thing even more annoying to get rid of, but I don't know. Maybe I will try it someday, but I don't know when. But anyway, so he goes for the play to get rid of my substitute, and I know that it will easily get rid of because honestly, Tentacruel does not have very good defense regardless, but I go for another skull, he goes for a play, but unfortunately for him though, his play misses. And I was like, are you serious? Oh wow, I understand the 10% chance of missing, but every time I fight a Moana with play with it always lands. And I was like, oh wow. So that skull completely kills it was a guaranteed 3-hit KO from the skull. And even though I didn't put almost little to not that much investment in terms of EVs for attack, I still did a decent amount to his Mega Moana, so here comes the Mandibuzz. I decided to stay in and go for Scald. I did that predicting maybe the switch or something, but okay, he decides to stay and go for Knockoff. He does get rid of the Black Smudge, which is going to be a small problem for my Tentacruel as it is one of his best items. But honestly, I'm actually kind of glad I burned Mandibuzz because if I didn't burn Mandibuzz, that Knockoff would have done a lot more than that, but regardless, since he is burned, I used this opportunity to go straight into my Staraptor to intimidate him. And he goes straight into the foul play. Even with the -3, that still does a solid amount of damage to me. It is stab, but it doesn't do half of it, which is freaking fantastic. So now it's Bird versus Bird. Gen 4 versus Gen 5, which one's better? Anyway, I go for the U-turn. The reason I went for U-turn was because I thought maybe he was going to switch out. Because honestly, he can't really do that anything to me, but surprisingly no, he actually decides to stay in, and I switch back into my Tentacruel. I switch back into Tentacruel, predicting him to actually go, maybe go straight into Volcarona, because honestly, like I said, my Tentacruel easily counters that Pokemon, but surprisingly no, he actually goes straight into the Roost, predicting me, probably to maybe he was doing that thinking he could live through another hit just to make me lose more recoil damage, which I understand that, but I don't think that's not necessary, but so here comes the Smeargle again. And honestly though, I did predict this switch. I used the opportunity to set up my Toxic Spikes. And honestly though, Tentacruel is my main Pokemon to use to set up Toxic Spikes, my main one, so I set that up. So, and the reason I said the Toxic Spike was because I thought maybe that Mandibuzz was his Defogger, because that's one of the most common moves that every Mandibuzz will use, and that's why Mandibuzz is very, very common as a Defogger. And let me tell you, Mandibuzz got a huge buff in this generation, and now learns Knockoff, which is freaking good, and really incredibly bulky. It's a lot better. But it turns out, I found out, his Smeargle is the one that's his Defogger. So apparently, now I actually know that. And so now my new goal is if I want to kill the rest of his team, I have to get rid of the Smeargle as fast as I can. As fast as I freaking can. Which, again, he does set up the sticky webs, and I am still asleep, which really stinks, but not much I can do for it. He's going to reset his hazards again. He's going to reset the sticky web and reset the stealth rocks. And even though Avalon's not that bad of a rapid spinner, I still think Dolphin is better at it though, because Dolphin resists stealth rocks, and he actually resists more attacks more than Avalon does, which I do like Avalon a lot. The problem is that he's pretty weak to stealth rocks, and And it's pretty bad because the opponent can just easily switch to a ghost or if not a special attacking Pokemon, which I really can't do that much to me anyway. But surprisingly, I actually wake up on this turn, but it stinks for me as well because I should have just went for Avalanche, maybe predict him to switch out into one of his Pokemon, which is exactly what I do. Actually, I think the reason he switched into Gliscor is predicting the Earthquake, which, in fact, honestly, that was a good move. He did predict the Earthquake, and that allowed him to activate Toxic Orb, which I did at least finally got rid of the Smeargle, which was a problem. And here comes the Volcarona, and honestly, though, I really want to get rid of these rocks as soon as I can, because I know that Volcarona can easily take me out, though, but I want to get rid of these rocks as soon as I can, which is pretty much my main goal here. Now here, I made a really dumb play here. I pretty much almost sacked off my Avalok, which honestly, I almost sacked it off, but apparently turns out he didn't really kill my thing. And I learned that it's a life orb, but I went for Earthquake anyway, just to do as much damage as I can anyway. I know that he does semi-resistant because he's part bug type, but he has more fire, so he does take normal damage from the Earthquake. And I thought here at first that he was going to maybe finish off my Avalok just to get rid of it. But apparently, nope, he doesn't do that. He goes straight into Roost. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, then that doesn't really matter because I can just go for another Earthquake and just kill you. Well, not kill, but anyway. And then guess what he does? He goes for another Roost again. And I was like, what are you doing? No, why aren't you killing my Avalok? He's way too low in life. He's useless. So I go for another Earthquake again. And it was like, oh my lord. Just freaking kill me already. And I decided, you know what? I know you're going to go for Roost again. I'm just going to use this opportunity and go for Recover. And that's exactly what he does. He goes for Roost again. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And unfortunately for him though, he really made it. Actually, I was the one who made the really dumb play, but it actually turned out to be the opposite. He was the one who made the dumb plays and went straight for Roost when he should have just went for Fire Dance just to get rid of Avalok, since Avalok is in fact a big threat to his Gliscor. So I decided, since I'm back at least full life, I'm going to switch into Screw, who's going to easily take this, who's going to easily resist and take this Fire Dance despite a +1. Yeah, and I saw that, and now here he goes straight into the Quiver Dance, and I saw that he went for it. I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do. Since you know that my thing can completely block your Fire Dance, you're trying to actually set up as many as you can just to sweep my team. And that's exactly what he does, actually. He activates another Quiver Dance, and honestly though, judging by how he keeps going for it, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to Toxic Stall you. I'll just Toxic you, and I'll just Toxic Stall you to death. And I can just finish you off on the next turn. Ha ha ha. And honestly, that is pretty much the reason. He pretty much wanted to activate Quiver Dance just so he could sweep the rest of my team. And he goes straight for the Roost. And honestly though, Roost, I don't think Roost is not even going to be a necessary move because I went straight into Substitute just to get behind a Substitute and just stall him out even more. And normally I don't really like doing Toxic Stalls or anything like that, but I figured it was probably necessary for this guy since this thing's gonna just try to sweep my team. And like I said, my Tentacruel does easily resist his moves, but after 2 Quiver Dances, honestly though, I did realize that there is no way I can take the next attack because Black Smudge is gone because of Mandibuzz. So honestly, the only thing I can do here is just sack off my Tentacruel and then I can send in my Vivillon, but so I decided to sack off Tentacruel because there's not that much else he can do. If I had Protect, I think this would be better, but I don't think so. He comes to Poison, and he just lives the Toxic with only, I would say 5 or 10 HP, I believe, but originally I was thinking of going straight into my, what was the Pokemon's name called? Oh yeah, Florges, the one that's on my other team, actually, that I decided to put as, again, this was around the time when I was rebreeding Goodra again. And then he goes for the Fire Dance. It gives him the special attack boost, but honestly that didn't matter because he was going to die from the Life Orb anyway. And honestly, I did make the dumb move. I could have just went for Quiver Dance since I do have the Focus Sash. That's the reason why I didn't want my, that's pretty much the main reason why I did not want my Vivillon to lose the Focus Sash, because I wanted it to take at least one turn to hit something after. Which, honestly, I freaking love Vivillon. It's such a good Pokemon. Like, you give it Sleep Powder with Compound Ice, pretty much Hurricane, Sleep Powder, and Storm can land almost every time. That's how incredibly good Vivillon is. It's not a high tier Pokemon because it's very fragile, but it does look coordinates, and honestly, Focus Edge is the best item for Vivillon because it easily takes hits when at full health. Excuse me. And I basically love Vivillon. That's pretty much it. So he goes for a boost just to get rid of the flying type, which is not a bad play, but honestly that really did not really matter to me. Simply because that I do completely wall his Mandibuzz, and honestly all he can do here is just straight up attack me, to be honest. But here I don't know why he went for the foul play to begin with. I understand maybe because he's burned, but I don't think that's not necessary. He should have just went for knockoff just to get rid of my leftovers, which would have crippled my Avalok, to be honest, if he did, but he did not do that. But so Avalanche is going to kill Avalanche is easily going to kill that, and all he has left for his last and final Pokemon is going to be his Gliscor. And at first glance, I thought maybe I would be able to actually beat him at this. That's what I was thinking at first, but it turns out that he has the very simple, like I thought, the very simple Protect and Substitute Stall moveset. Which honestly though, I have no choice but to go straight for Avalanche because that's the only move that's super effective on Gliscor. As you can tell that one Avalanche without being attacked still does a solid 50%, 55% damage because honestly Gliscor is 4 times weak to ice types. And so I did predict to go for the Protect, and I went straight for the Recover just to go back to full life. Even though I know for the Poison is going to not, even though I know for it's not going to matter, but I had to do a move for predicting the Protect. And he goes straight into Subs, and I was like, yep, I was right. This is a Substitute Protect Stall he's going to do. Toxic Mate Protect Stall. And honestly though, if there is one disadvantage I would say that Avalok does have against Gliscor, is the fact that, if there's one disadvantage I would say that Avalok does have against Gliscor, is that once Gliscor uses Protect on Avalok, all you can do, and since Gliscor easily outspeeds Avalok because Avalok is slow as fuck, this gives him a great opportunity to just Toxic Stall all the fucking time, using only Protect and Substitute just to make me waste some PP, but also completely stall me out. Well, which really sucks, but it sucks for me. But I figured maybe if I stall him out for PP wasted, maybe I can actually force him to waste some of his moves PP and stuff. Why does that sound weird when I say PP? I don't get it. Anyway, I decided, you know what? I'm not going to stay in with Avalok anymore because Avalok is taking too much poison damage. I might as well save it for later. So I'm going to switch into Florges, and I know Florges is not really that physically bulky, but I went straight for the Moonblast pretty much just to get rid of the Substitute, because honestly, let's face it, Gliscor's special defense is complete ass, so it really cannot take any special attack and move very well. And honestly, that's the only move I have that's the most super effective. And honestly though, for some weird reason, Florges still does a really good amount of damage to Pokemon. Still does a really good amount of damage, but when he goes for the pivot like I predicted, and I could have just used that opportunity to go for a Wish, and then I could just hit him on the next turn with an easy, pretty much with a very, very easy, Moonblast to hit him pretty hard. But he does not, and he goes straight for another Earthquake. Luckily, the Citrus Berry puts me back in enough life. And I go straight for Moonblast. It does a solid amount of damage, but like I said, Gliscor's special defense is complete butts. And again, just like I did before, I made the stupid play, and I should have just went for Wish, and then just go straight for a Protect afterwards, or, well, go straight for a Moonblast, but it turns out he actually goes for the double Protect. And I thought this Moonblast was going to kill, but it doesn't even kill. He lives with just 1 HP, which really stinks, because that means he can just freely kill my Florges, which really sucks, but now that I know his whole moveset, actually, I now know his whole moveset. His whole moveset is basically Earthquake, Toxic, Substitute, and Protect. And since Earthquake is the only attack he has, he can't use it on my Staraptor at all. All he can rely on is just Protect and Substitute. Well, actually, Protect is the only move he can rely on. And honestly, this is pretty much game right here. Because a Blind 4 Brave Bird can easily take out Gliscor from that range. Can easily take it out. He tries to go for a double attack, it completely fails. And this Brave Bird's going to easily take out the Gliscor. And that was his final Pokemon. I did appreciate that he had to stay in and do the best he can to try to win the match, but that didn't matter. As soon as I now realized his moveset, Starter was the best option to go into. Because honestly, his only attack is Earthquake, and ground type moves have no effect on flying types, which is freaking perfect for me, because that means all he could do to me was just either Toxic or just go for Protect. And even after going for Protect, Starter can do a really damn good job to a lot of Pokemon on his team. Actually, he could do such a damn fantastic job. And even if he did decide to go for a Toxic or something, that stuff, it wouldn't really matter, because I could just go for Roost. Anyway, but that is it for this Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and go ahead and let me know what you personally think of this video, and I'll see you guys next time for the next Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle featuring this new team.